This call is now being recorded. Dr. Hemant Toshikane sir, our guest speaker, Dr. Vaidya Srinath. Good morning, one and all, to all the viewers who have joined us, and welcome back to the live webinar session conducted by Faculty of Ayurveda, Parul University, Vadodara. Myself, Dr. Urvi Kulkarni, Assistant Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, and host of this session, present you the second part of live webinar on topic steps involved in the study of manuscriptology by our eminent guest speaker, Dr. Srinath M. Vaidya, Professor, Department of Ayurveda Samhita Siddhanta, SDM College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Hassan. If you need knowledge, keep adding something new to your mind every day. But if you need wisdom, then keep deleting a few things from your mind every day. So, as I always say, we need to be on a zero gear whenever we are in a process of receiving knowledge from the eminent one, from the Guru. So, let us again come to a neutral gear and delete some few things from our minds to install the things which are going to be delivered by our guest speaker, Dr. Srinath Vaidya. Sir, I request you to take up the session now.
Namaste. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. गुणत्रय भेदेन मूर्तित्रय उपयशे त्रयी भुवे त्रिनेत्राय त्रिलोकी पतये नमः. सरस्वत्या नमो यस्य प्रसादात् पुण्यकर्मभिः बुद्धिदर्पण संक्रांते जगदध्यक्षमीक्षते. With this bowing to the lotus feet of Trinetra and to Ganesha, we'll move further. And at the outset, let me thank Dr. Hemant Toshikane sir, Dr. Urvi Kulkarni madam, and Dr. Harish Daga sir, and all the authorities of Parul University for giving me an opportunity to present my views which are there on manuscriptology and the steps involved in the study of manuscripts. Although only one session has been provided to me, but I have converted it into 2 sessions. Because of some technical problem, it has extended to further part, and let us look at into the further part of manuscriptology. PPTs are on. Share.
Yes, sir. I will make it now. Yeah. I hope the PPT is visible, sir.
It's visible now.
Please start slide 4, madam.
The PPT is visible?
No, it's not visible to me. Yeah, visible now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So until now, we have looked at into different stages, and among that I have given initially the little introduction about how manuscript will appear and how it will be written, and what are the types of manuscripts according to the stitch. That entity 2 we have looked at, and we have looked at stage 1, collection of manuscript, and we have looked at half part of stage 2, that is conservation of the manuscript. Among that, we have looked at preventive conservation. There are 2 stages in conservation: preventive conservation and curative conservation. We are looked at into preventive conservation in the part 1 session of steps involved in the study of manuscriptology, and in further part we are going to look at curative conservation. Along with that, we are going to look at into stage 3, digitalization. Along with that, stage 4, deciphering 2 we are going to look at, editing 2 we are going to look at, and stage 6, finalization 2 we are going to look at. Madam, please further.
So you want me to play the slide 48?
Video. Yeah. So here we are looking at repair of manuscript, and this is all considered as the part of curative conservation. And in this curative conservation, whole repair has been indicated here with banana tissue paper, or else Japanese tissue paper will be used here, and its fibers which will be having long fibers. Such Japanese tissue paper or banana paper will be taken. Now you are looking at The Japanese tissue paper fibers are used attached with a gum. Other direct gum is fixed with that long fiber, and with the instrument, it is fixed to the hole. The hole will be repaired here. So this is a part of curative conservation of palm leaf manuscript. Enough, madam. Next. So long fibers which are present here, that they will be used here.
Okay, sir. Do you want me to open up
Next
49,
slide.
right?
Yeah. Further, we are going to look at into the process of re-inking of palm leaf manuscript. Here, we are going to take the ink powder. That ink powder will be mixed with, in the picture you are looking at, ink powder is taken in a vessel and it is mixed with the gum. Gum resin will be mixed. A gum resin will be added with distilled water and it is mixed in it. And a cotton swab is taken, and that swab is completely used here to mix the ink as well as the gum. Both will be mixed together and it will be applied in one direction, right from the middle to that of end. It will be applied, and on another direction. Hand should not move in a reverse manner. In such manner, it will be applied. Then after application on both the sides, it is made to dry, and it is washed off with distilled water. After washing out, the ink will settle into the grooves. When ink will settle into the groove, the letters which are written, which are inscribed on the palm leaf, they will appear appropriately. So such method will be narrated here. This is re-inking of the palm leaf, and only for the palm leaf re-inking will be done, and re-inking will not be done for paper manuscript. Paper manuscript has got different technique, which I am going to show in the further part. Next slide, madam.
Okay, sir. Sir, slide number 50, video 1.
Yeah. Here, for storing of the manuscript, we are going to store it in a proper manner. So this is tying of a palm leaf manuscript I am going to show. Same method can be used to tie even paper manuscripts. So now look at the a cord which has been passed through the hole in the palm leaf manuscript, that is taken and it is tied at one place, and after tying appropriately at one place, knot need to be applied here. See, now the person is applying the knot. That knot will be taken on the other side, where it will be tied appropriately by taking a round through the manuscript, where the side boards will be attached, and one more knot will be applied here. Like this, you can put two, three rounds you can take here if the length of the thread will be too much, and it will be moved on the other side. Now knot will be applied here. By applying the knot, the thread will be taken to the other side, and completely the palm leaf manuscript, which is a big bundle, that will be tied here. So now you are looking at a big manuscript where it will be tied appropriately. So one more round will be taken here, and after taking one more round, it will be a knot will be applied. After application of the knot, the cord will get changed. The direction of the cord can be changed here. By changing such direction, we can move it to the other place. Now it has been moved to the other place. Now look at one more round of a circle of cord will be placed here, and twice it has been done here, and a knot will be applied here. By applying knot, the thread can be moved to the other place. So now it is moved to the other place, and a knot will be applied here, and the thread is too much long here. It can be cut according to the size, and there is a measurement for the thread which can be used to tie the manuscript. It should be 3 times of that of the breadth of the manuscript, and it is tied here properly. It is tied here. Now after tying it, now you can look at the beautiful tying of the manuscript which will appear in the further part. manuscript will look very appropriately here. And with this tying, the folios which will be there in the palm leaf manuscript, they will not get away from the manuscript. They will now look at on the other side. It will appear 4 lines. Now look at on the other side. It will be like a zigzag manner. Knot has been tied here. Yes, madam. Thank you. Next slide.
Okay, sir. We have slide number 50, video 2.
Yeah. Now, over this, after tying this palm leaf, over this one more cloth has to be tied. But this is old method which is demonstrated here. Now we are going to leave space on the sides so that oxygen supply should be present for the palm leaf. Now look at, a red cloth will be taken, or else a yellow cloth can be taken. Red cloth and yellow cloth are considered as insect repellent. So they are used and they are considered as auspicious in nature. Now a thread which has been tied to the edge of a red cloth, that has been tied here by covering the palm leaf manuscript with the red cloth. And now the same manner how we had tied earlier the manuscript, same way it is tied by covering a red cloth. And it will be tied and the knots will be applied here, and thread will be moved to the other part, and appropriately it will be tied and it will be stored in the storage unit. Now thread is less, so half has been tied, but you can look at appropriate picture here. And with this mode we can tie the manuscript and we can store it in the storage unit after complete preventive conservation and curative conservation of the manuscript. Thank you, madam. Slide please.
Yes. So could you tell me which slide number you want?
Now we move further to slide number 51.
51. Okay.
Yeah. Paper manuscript conservation we are going to look at in the further part. Here, tear and edge mending has been, tear and edges will usually present for the paper, and for that tear and edges, or else edges which will be torn, its mending will be done here. And in this mending, again same, tissue paper will be used, Japanese tissue paper which will be having long fibers, that will be used here. And those Japanese tissue paper will be attached with a gum, Aza directa gum, and it will be fixed on the tear as well as the edges, and a weight will be kept over that. By doing that, tear and edges which will be present in the paper manuscript, that can be easily removed out. Next slide please, ma'am. Next. For paper manuscript, we are going to give aqueous treatment. Aqueous treatment means we are going to insert paper manuscript into a solution, a liquid solution, so that the acidity of the paper can be removed out. Usually in the paper manuscript or handmade paper, acidity will be seen. That acidity is going to destroy the manuscripts. So to remove that acidity, we are going to give aqueous treatment. Before doing that, first look at surface cleaning will be done. Then after that, ink will be fixed. Then after that, damaged edges will be mended. They will be repaired. Then fourth picture, damaged edge will be repaired, that you are going to look at. In fifth picture, you are going to look at aqueous treatment will be given, so that paper manuscript will be inserted into the liquid solution. Acetone liquid, it will be inserted. Next slide please, madam. After inserting into the aqueous, the first picture you are looking at, in aqueous treatment will be given. It is inserted in that liquid, acetone liquid, for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then after that it is removed out, and it is put on a glass slide, and the weights will be put over that. With this, the mending which will be present, the folds which will be present in the paper manuscript, those all folds which will be there, those all folds will be removed out, and ink already we have fixed, and ink will appear appropriately. So this is the method of removing acidity present in the paper manuscript. So this is a curative conservation which will be needed for a paper manuscript. That process we are going to do for paper manuscript. And this process we are not going to do for palm leaf. Palm leaf process which I had told earlier, re-inking as well as the whole repair, those all curative conservation method we are going to adopt. Next slide, madam. Further, we are going to look at one more variety of preservation of the manuscript, that is called as lamination. Although it is outdated, but it is practiced at certain manuscript centers. The lamination process involves use of cellulose acetate sheet, or else polythene foil will be used, and manuscript will be kept between two polythene sheets, and it is laminated. How we are going to do lamination for our day-to-day uses, like for our PAN cards and for our other cards, we are going to do lamination. In the same manner it will be done, but hot press will not be done here, and it will be covered between two acetone cellulose acetate sheet or polythene foil. So this is outdated method, but it will be used at certain manuscript centers. This is one more method for preservation of the manuscript. Next slide, madam. Mechanical reproduction is one more method which will be used to store the manuscript. In traditional method is recopying of the manuscript once in every 200 years. If a manuscript is present, it will be copied every 200 years once by experts, by the scribes. And these scribes are going to copy it, and they used to circulate it to different places. In ancient time, Pustakadana has been considered as Mahadana. So they used to copy by looking at one manuscript, and many people, many experts used to do it, and that copied manuscript will be circulated to the different parts. So they used to do it every 200 years once. With the advent of British rule, this process has been discontinued and has led for discontinuity of the method, and many more valuable manuscripts have been haven't been obtained through this recopying, because this recopying method has been considered as one of the best method for preserving the manuscript. Next, madam. Photocopying is one more method. We know this. Quickly a photocopy can be done, and it is cost effective. For around 50 paise or 1 rupee or 2 rupees, we are going to get photocopy of the manuscript. And in the manuscript libraries, when we are going to ask for the manuscripts for the research work, they are going to ask us whether we need photocopies or we need scanned images, or else we need a image which has been taken print on a smooth surface. So there are different methods. This is one more method. Visuality will be very easy, and quickly it can be obtained, and cost will be very effective here for the photocopying. Next slide. Microfilming is one more method. It will be done in certain manuscript libraries. In our manuscript library, we are not going to do any microfilming. We are going to involve in digitalization process. This microfilming helps in reduction of the images in small sizes, so that it can be looked at in a compressive photographic manner, and it can be visualized through a computer. So it is going to save 99% of the space. Usually when microfilming will be done, the space microfilming will be done to store the space, or to save the space, or to store the matter in a smaller volume. So that microfilming will be done by certain manuscript centers. Next, madam. Digitalization is one more process. Majority of the manuscript libraries are going to involve in digitalization of the manuscripts. The equipments required for the manuscript have been indicated by Fazluddin Ahmad in 2009, and he narrated what are the techniques needed for digitalization process. He says a software and a hardware both are needed for process of digitalization. Now we look at further what are the hardware and software needed for process of digitalization. Next, madam. A computer is needed which should have a large monitor. Monitor should be more than 18, or if you fix it as 22, 24, then it will be very best, so that images can be looked at large. 160 GB hard drive is needed here, and they are going to narrate 512 MB RAM is needed. But at present day, all the computers will be having 2 GB or 4 GB or 8 GB RAMs are available, and those are all very quickly, the matter can be stored very quickly, it can be looked at. Video card should be present in the manuscript in the computer for digitalization of the manuscripts. CD writing and DVD writing and optical drives should be present for the computer. Next. There are certain other methods where scanning will be done, digitalization will be done. The older method you are going to look at in the first picture, older version of camera, reprographic camera, a older version you are looking at in the left picture, and on the right picture you are looking at reprographic camera of newer version. A finest capture will be done with this reprographic camera and simple and effective in nature, but cost is too much than that of older version. This older version too will be used in certain manuscript libraries, but reprographic camera we are going to use in our manuscript library, and we have got a camera, but the camera mount is not there with us, and we are obtaining that camera mount in the future with various funding agencies. Next picture. Scanners are also there for digitalization. There are various varieties of scanners which are available. Overhead book scanners are there. So old books and old manuscripts which are in book form, they can be scanned with overhead book scanner. Flatbed scanners are also there. Here we can scan books as well as palm leaf manuscript as well as a paper manuscript. Overhead tabletop scanners are also there. These tabletop scanners are of various sizes, right from A0, A4, A5, A3 sizes of scanners are available. What is the material? The scanner depends on that. If the palm leaf manuscript is too big, for example, Sheetala, when it will be there, it will be too big in nature. That big palm leaf can be scanned only with A0 scanners. So different varieties of scanners are available, and A0 scanner is the best scanner which can be used. Now one more scanner you are looking at in the picture, Scan Robo. This Scan Robo from right from A0 size to that of A3, A2, A4 size we can scan, and it is completely computerized, and all the matter can be stored here in the computer, and even we can produce HTML as well as PDF format or DJVU formats, or else various varieties of formats are available in this, and we can convert that into different forms. Such robo scanners are available at present day, and we are hoping to have this robo scanner in our manuscript library, and we are applying for the funding agency. Probably we may succeed in the future, and my aim is that to get this robo scan so that the scanner can be made easily. Scanning of the manuscripts which are there in our library can be made easily for the researcher. Next picture, ma'am.
Yes.
Softwares are also needed for the digitalization process. HTML editors, as already I had told, these HTML editors are easily available in ScanRobo. And one more software is optical character recognition software is needed, OCR. And image editors are needed. This optical character recognition software is going to help us to identify the character in a proper manner, so that if you zoom the picture, you are able to get the complete picture of the character. For example, if you are going to zoom in the manuscript, you are going to see complete picture of Such optical character recognition softwares are also needed. Along with that, certain other softwares like DJVU as well as PDF conversion softwares are also needed, which are useful for the process of digitalization of the manuscripts. Next, ma'am. So this is the short picture of process of digitalization. Initially, scanning will be done for the document images, then image processing will be done and OCR software will be applied. Then after that, storage will be done in DVD or else in a hard drives, it will be stored. Quality check will be done then after that, whether the image is appropriate or not. Then it is sent to a server form, a motherboard. It can be sent or it can be attached to the email drives, and then it will be circulated to the library collection. From library collection, the user can access it, and user can retrieve the scanned copies from the manuscript libraries. In our manuscript library, we have made cloud computing, and we are going to attach all the scanned document to email as well as to a motherboard which is there in our central library, and we are going to retrieve whenever difficulties will be there from the motherboard as well as from the email IDs. They have been attached, or they have, all these have been synced together, and with this sync mode, with the cloud computing, we can retrieve back if any mishap or viral attack are going to happen over the computer which we are using. Next, madam. Advantages of digitalization are there. Original document can be prevented from the damage. This is the foremost advantage of the digitalization. Original document will be retained as it is. We are not going to touch it too much. We are going to use it only for the preservation of the manuscript. And digitalized images can be shared worldwide. And if a researcher want to obtain the manuscript from a far place, can obtain the digitalized copies in a smoother manner, easily through a email process or through a Google Drive. These can be shared to the person, so can avoid visit to the specific repository, and a person can obtain through this emails or else through Google Drive. It can be obtained. These are the advantages of digitalization. Next, madam. This is our manuscript library. You have to show the video here, madam.
Yes, sir.
This video has been taken in 2017 when we have opened our manuscript library in 2017. It is a full-fledged manuscript library which consists of curative conservation as well as digitalization is all there. In South India, it's one of its kind. Open, madam. Yeah, share, madam. In South India, it is one of its kind where curative conservation unit has been set by our college, and the management as well as principal sir and all the PGs have tremendously supported for this event, and these are the initial opening pictures. Now all these have been changed. Now all the shelves have come here and we are storing them in the shelf. This is Dashavataram manuscript, and on the other side blue manuscript what you are going to look at is Srishti Utpatti Krama from Lalita Sahasra Nama manuscript. Probably it's not moving further. Yeah. Lekhana Samagris are also there with us. Already I have shown you the Lekhana Samagris or writing instruments, ink, bamboo reed pens as well as stylus. These are all. This is the museum where we have got card catalog, and the card catalog have been kept over the manuscript which has been displayed. 132 displays are present here, and these all 132 display. Among that 155 displays are from Ayurveda. Vagbhata Samhita will come here probably. Vagbhata Samhita is also in our collection. Only Sutrasthana is there in our collection. Rasaratna Samuchaya is there with us, and Rasatarangini are there with us, and Balatantra is there in a palm leaf form, that is there with us. These are all the dissertation work which are going on in our manuscript library. 20 dissertations have been completed over the critical edition of the manuscript, and now the list 730 manuscripts have been shown here. Now it is 1025 manuscripts which are there in our library. 20 dissertations of critical edition have completed, and still more in pipeline. There are another 6 manuscript studies which will be done by PG scholars. I have got 4 big manuscript works which are there in hand. So this is Mahabharata and Ramayana manuscript, which we have paid for that Ramayana and Mahabharata manuscript, which was lying in a personal collection, and we have purchased from them. So these are all 132 depictions which we are showed here in our museum. They are for the display in the museum. Vagbhata Samhita you can look at here. It is in Kannada manuscript. Vagbhata Samhita has been shown here. Anubhava Yogas, Anubhava Siddha Rasayana, Vaidya Sangra, Vaidya Chintamani, and now you can look at here Rasaratna Samuchaya. Yoga Ratnakara is there with us. This is Yoga Ratnakara manuscript which is there with us, And for this, we have struggled a lot. Panduranga sir and myself, along with our PG scholars, have struggled a lot for about 1.5 to 2 years. Then we could able to collect these all manuscripts, and we can able to store it in our manuscript library. We'll enter into the internal part, where editing section has been provided soon after the museum. This is editing section, and this is processing unit. During opening, it has been taken. Now it is full placed. All computers can be placed here, and these are all scripts which have been made our PG scholars. Computer can be placed in editing section, and all will be provided with internet facility, and they can sit here and they can edit. All the textbook which are needed for the manuscript study have been made available in our manuscript library, and those available textbook you are going to look at in the further part. These are the books. All catalogs are there. All textbooks are there. Now this is to less number in 2017. Now books number have also been increased. This manuscript storage unit. Here we are stored in the shelves. Now the shelves have also been changed. This old form of shelves in which we are arranged. These are all palm leaf manuscript which have been wrapped with a red cloth, and these are all paper manuscripts, and above that old books are there. Old books which have been obtained from different these are old books have been obtained from different people around Hassan district as well as Mysore district. Even certain have been obtained from Tamil Nadu, certain have been obtained from Shringeri. So such manuscripts we are stored here. Thank you, madam. Next slide, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll move further to the critical edition. Critical edition plays an important role. It has got two components. First one is lower criticism, and next one is higher criticism. Lower criticism has got three components, three steps: heuristic, recension, and amendation. Heuristic here indicates to find or discover, to find out a appropriate thing among the manuscript which are critically edited. That constitutes heuristic. That constitutes heuristic. And the next part is recension. Recension indicates process of choosing among the variants of reading the one which is original or near to that of author's intention. What intention the author has placed, what is nearest to the author's intention, that we are going to select, and we are going to put it in the edited form. In certain condition, we are not sure the author has written inappropriately, or scribe has made certain mistake. In that condition, we are going to amend that word, or we are going to amend even a sentence. That is called as amendation. Third step: an editor suggests a reading which is more plausible or original to the author's intention based on internal as well as external probabilities. Internal probability here indicates the evidences which are there in the manuscript. Based on that, external probability here indicates the evidences which are there on the manuscripts or on the books which are written at the same time of that manuscript what we are editing at present. The same time editions, the same time the textbook which are there, or the textbook which are little previous than that of the work which we are editing. Those all we are going to study. After studying those all, we are going to come at a conclusion that the author is intended to narrate in this manner, or author is explaining in this manner. That is called as external probability. Based on these two, internal as well as external probability, we are going to suggest an amendation, and it is a difficult task. The internal external probabilities are to be weighed appropriately before changing a word or before changing a sentence. They are to be thought thoroughly, they are to be discussed thoroughly. Then after that, a amendation of a word or amendation of a sentence will be done by the editor. This all together will be called as pata shuddhi, or it is called as lower criticism. Next, madam. One more part is there, second part, which is called as higher criticism. In this higher criticism, the person who is the researcher who is editing the manuscript, he will explain about source of the work. Not only source, he will explain about the life of the author and the equipments and the circumstances that made the author to compose the work. Those all will be explained here. And the situation in which the work has been composed by the author, that will also be explained here. And influence of the other writer in the field on the author, that will also be discussed here. And reasons for popularity or unpopularity will also be spoken here. So in totality, in short, this higher criticism indicates history, the source, life, circumstances, situation, influence of the other writer in the field, and popularity or unpopularity of the work, or else in short term, history of the author will be explained here. The person who is going to do lower criticism, that person will have got command to do higher criticism, or else higher a person can do lower criticism and can leave higher criticism for another research person to work on. That can also be possible. It is not that the person has to do both of these, lower criticism as well as higher criticism. Person can choose any one of these, or person can choose both of these. But usually the person who does lower criticism will be capable. A researcher who does lower criticism will be capable to do higher criticism. Next slide. For this critical edition, a sheet will be used that is called as collation sheet. This collation sheet indicates collection of information of the text what we are editing in a single page. In a single page, all the material we are going to collect about all the manuscripts what we are editing. So for this, we are going to use a sheet which is of 32 into 32. 32 rows and 32 columns will be present here. Why 32 rows? So that the researcher can understand Anushtup Chand or Chandas can be identified very easily in a Sanskrit document when we are editing. So for that, this 32 into 32 collation sheet will be utilized. Next, I'll show you collation sheet in the next slide. This is the collation sheet where 32 into 32 rows and 32 columns are there. And you can look at here in the picture. The first one, BQ, here indicates first manuscript. BO2 indicates second manuscript. C1 indicates third manuscript. C5 is fifth manuscript. These all 4 manuscripts on a single subject, on a single work. 4 manuscripts are there. All the 4 manuscripts have been obtained and all the 4 manuscripts have been compared. And a single quotation will be selected among these 4 variants. And the selected part will be called as the part which is accepted. Accepted reading will be selected here and it will be made available. What we are reading at right now, Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita and Vagbhad Samhita, those all are edited like this. Yadavji Trikamji Maharaj or Yadavji Trikamji Acharya has made us available the Charaka Samhita in a beautiful manner. In the bottom part, in the critical part, critical notes have been provided from Gangadhar Roy and complete Chakrapani commentary has been edited here. Charaka Samhita has been placed here. So we should be very much thankful to Yadavji Trikamji Acharya for providing us Charaka as well as Sushruta Samhita, 2 beautiful texts which have been critically edited with the utmost effort. And one more, Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita, which has been edited by Anna Moreshwar Kunte, very beautiful text which has been edited with 2 commentaries, Arunadatta as well as Hemadri. So they have edited it and they have made it available to us. For that, we are reading them and we are practicing them. Such all several varieties of manuscripts are there in Ayurveda which are not edited yet. So we are making an attempt to edit those all manuscripts which are available and which haven't been edited. Such attempt will be made in our manuscript library for their critical edition. For that, this collation sheet will be utilized. Next slide. One more step next is cataloging. And catalog have got 4 parts. 4 types of catalogs are available. That is simple catalog, descriptive catalog, card catalog, as well as the book form of catalog. Simple catalog explains about the manuscript and their accession number. That's all. Manuscript, author name and accession number. Descriptive catalog explains about, it gives the description of the manuscript. Physical description will be given. Matter description will be given here. Author and his place will be explained here. How many folios, how many pages are present in it, what is the language used here, whether commentary is present in it or not. All this description will be given. That is called as descriptive catalog. Third one is card catalog, and this card catalog will be available in the respective libraries. For example, I showed our museum, where a description has been given about the manuscripts which have been displayed. For that, description has been put in the card catalog. So when you go to a manuscript library, please ask for a card catalog. They will provide a card catalog so that you can look at the manuscript and you can trace the manuscript and you can ask the curator or the authorities to give the manuscript for the study. And last one is book form of manuscript, book form of catalog, where the catalog will be printed in a book form. For example, we have got several other varieties of catalog, book form of catalogs. For example, Chokomba catalog and CCRS catalog and NCC, New Catalogus Catalogram. So such all varieties of catalogs which are printed in book form, they constitute book catalog. These are the 4 varieties of catalogs which are available. Now further we are going to look at how cataloging will be done. Next slide, please. So to make a catalog, there are certain points which should be present with us before doing a catalog. Date of accession, accession number, author, title, place of publication, volume or parts if they are there in the manuscript, that is also needed. Size and binding should be known, and source of acquisition, cost, class here indicates whether it pertains to Veda, Upanishad, Smriti, Purana or else Ayurveda, Vaidika Shastra, and date of payment and remarks. These are the things which are needed for making a catalog. Next, madam. Descriptive catalog consists of 2 parts. Part 1 explains about physical detail of the manuscript. Next slide. Part 2 explains about extracts of the manuscript. Here in part 2, we are going to look at few lines of the beginning manuscript and few lines of the manuscript and inter colophon or mid colophon, few lines which are there in the middle. That too we are going to look at. So which constitutes a descriptive catalog. Next slide. So this is an example of simple catalog. You can look at from Madras Library. This catalog has been obtained by us, and we are also prepared simple catalog, and yet it need to be opened into a catalog form, a book form, and then after that we can publish it here. Madras Manuscript Library simple catalog I am showing you. Now you can look at the work, name of the work has been cited, and the name of the work in English has been given, name of the author has been given, subject matter has been given, the surface on which it has been written, whether it is palm leaf, paper or birch bark, that has been given, character, a script, whether it is in Andinagari, Devanagari, Telugu, all have been given, number of folios and its accession number has been given. This constitutes simple catalog. Next, madam. Descriptive catalog has been provided here. You can look at an example of medical manuscript descriptive catalog. This is Netra Prakashika manuscript, which has been obtained from Saraswati Mahal Library. Author is Nandikeshwara. Subject is 1 to 4 patalas dealing with the eye disease. Language is Sanskrit. Script is Devanagari. Status is complete in nature. Beginning line, ending line, and mid colophon has also been provided here. And how many? What is the surface? What is the material? That has also been given. Number of pages has also been given here. Number of syllables has also been given here. And the title of the catalog has also been given here. Serial number, year, and date of publication has also been given here. This is called as descriptive catalog. So this is an example of descriptive catalog. Next slide, madam. One more catalog which is available with us is NCC, New Catalogus Catalogram, which has been prepared by Madras University with under supervision of various editors and directors. This work has been started from 1935 and completed in 2017, I think, 2018. 45 volumes have been published, which covers 60 to 70% of the manuscripts which are present worldwide, including Jain manuscript, Bauddha manuscript, as well as Prakrit manuscripts are also made available. And these all manuscripts are catered at a place. And I have personally seen the people working in this project. They have worked with a passion, and for months together they haven't got salary. So also with a passion they worked from 1935 to 2018. Because of their effort, 45 volumes have been published, and all the 45 volumes are available with available in the market, and you can obtain it from Madras University. Next, madam. This is an example of a new catalogus catalogram. Now look at the price, only 15 rupees for volume, first volume it is, volume 1. So it is a funded project where you can get it with a minimum price. Now it is not there in the market. You need to pay a little more to get this new catalogus catalogram. 60 to 70% of the manuscripts which are there around the globe, all have been shown in this new catalogus catalogram. It is not 100%. 60 to 70% of manuscripts available in the globe have been put in the catalog form here. Next, madam. And this is an example of Amar Kosha. Now you can look at new catalogus catalogram. All the details of the manuscript where they are available has been quoted here. Adyar library, there are 4 manuscripts which are available. America, there are few manuscripts which are there. Allahabad, there are few manuscripts. Anand Ashrama is a manuscript library where they are available in complete form and incomplete form. Both have been explained here through new catalogus catalogram. Next slide. Next slide. Last part we will look at editing and publication of the manuscript. Mentality need to be developed towards editing the manuscript. The steps involved for that is actually we have to look at the original manuscript, and we need to learn to handle it, and we need to learn to read it. And one more step is frequently looking at the footnotes of good critically edited text has to be done here. The indices and edited text are to be looked at appropriately. Keen observation has to be done here. Through that, we are going to learn many things. And the teaching of certain scripts, for example, Devanagari script, Sharada script, Grantha script, teaching of those scripts will develop a mentality towards editing a text. Next one. Next step. Next slide. So essential features of critical edition have been collected here. Previous one. All the extant copies of the manuscript which are available, they need to be collected and decide mutual relation. Their relation has to be decided here, and all the copies are to be collated. All the copies are to be compared to each other, and a critical recension has to be done. Original reading has to be selected among that, and one of the original reading which is accepted, that has to be considered as original to the nearest to the author's intention, and that will be considered as original reading. And critical recension and description of the facts, features, and criticism will be done here. These are the essential features of critical edition. Next slide, madam. For this critical edition, certain abbreviations can be used, and after that, proofreading has to be done. Spell check program has to be done over that, and finalization has to be done. Then after that, it will be out for publication, and it will come out in a form of a book which can be read easily by all the people around the globe. Such critical edition has to be done. These are the steps involved in the critical edition. Next, madam. I'll end with the further note, with the conclusion. Sambhusham sadapatyavat parakarat samraksham cha sukshetravat samshodyam runitangarvat pratidinam viksham cha sanmitravat babhyam bhadyavad ashklatam drudagunair smaryam harer namavat naivam sidati pustakam khalakadapya etad gurunam mucha. Manuscript need to be dressed like one's own offspring, and they are need to be guarded like handling of the fertile land. How we are going to handle fertile land, in the same manner manuscript need to be handled. They are to be thoroughly cleaned like a wounded limb, and they are to be handled like a good friend. How we are going to be with a good friend and we visit a good friend, in the same manner manuscript need to be handled, and they are to be tied with a strong thread, and strong thread like a prisoner. How we are going to tie a prisoner with a strong thread? No, in the same manner they are to be tried, and they are to be remembered like name of Lord God. Smaryam Harinamavat Smrana has to be done. Such books never get deteriorated. So says the master. So these are the conclusive remarks. How the manuscript need to be looked at, that has been indicated in a beautiful quotation by an author, and these are all floating references which are collected from different manuscript, and it explains about importance of manuscript and manuscriptology, the sense, the steps involved in the manuscript study, and if any doubts are there. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. If any doubts are there, you can go on asking. Or Urvi madam, if doubts are there, you can ask.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. I think this was one of the best, most complete I found. And it has given a new vision and inspiration. I hope so. I think the Department of Samhita Siddhanta, Faculty of Ayurveda, Samhita Siddhanta Department of our college, I think they have the inspiration of this session. So, and also starting from the old methods, sir, you have been explaining the things starting from the old methods to the new methods of digitalization also. I think half of the things I have also understood from your presentation. It was very specifically in this area. I think you have been done the mastery in this. What I feel is, and I have a question. If
Yeah.
I can ask you, sir, you said that you've been working with the students, PG students of your college. What type of dissertation do you kind of set for the students? Because this is a very vast area. We took 2 sessions. I think last Sunday also there was a session, and this Sunday we have taken another session. But for a student, is it a difficult task kind of? I want you to give some light on this, because so that we can inspire our students also to work for working in manuscriptology.
Yeah. Shall I answer?
Yeah. Yes, please.
The first point is, it is not just mere work of Samhita Siddhant. This work can be taken by all the PGs, those who are there in different branches too. This is first point.
Okay.
Second point, the manuscripts which are unpublished, or the manuscripts which have got lacunas or edited inappropriately, those all manuscripts can be taken and they can be edited. Second point. Third point, in our department, we are training our postgraduates for critical edition of the manuscripts. Manuscript critical edition is not just theoretical part. It is like driving a car. If we are going to say theoretical explanation, we can't drive the car unless until we sit in the car and make an attempt to drive it.
Yeah.
So same way, manuscripts are to be looked at, and interest need to be developed, and they are to be studied thoroughly, and training has to be obtained. With that, if we involve, we will be able to edit the manuscripts. Fourth point. Fifth point, our postgraduates are editing the manuscripts. For example, I'll quote few examples.
Okay.
Charakanya's manuscript is there, which is a commentary on Charak Samhita, written by Bhattar Harishchandra, where Tantrayuktis have been very specifically explained. That manuscript was available in Madras Manuscript Library. We obtained from Madras Manuscript Library, and we have edited that. Charakanyas, our student has edited that. I have not edited. I just given a guideline. She has edited it, and she has published it. Similarly, Shivdas Sen, one more manuscript is there, which has been published from Jaipur long back. Now it is out of print. We have even edited Shivdas Sen on Charak Samhita commentary. Same manner, one more PG scholar has edited on Vishweshwara Vidnyartha Prakashika of Vishweshwara Pandita on Sharirasthana of Vagbad Samhita. And Madhav Nidana commentary, there are 2 works. One work has been completed and another work is going on. Balabodhini is one more work on Madhav Nidana. Like this, Vaidya Sangraha is one more manuscript which a student is editing at, and 2 more manuscripts like this. One more is on Dravyaguna manuscript, where Mantra Chikitsa has been indicated, and those all Mantra Chikitsa and Rasaguna Veera Vipaka Prabhava have been explained in that manuscript. That manuscript has also been edited. Such all works are going on, and I am working on Ashtanga commentaries, incorporating 15 commentaries, which are not available to the reader. Now only 2 commentaries are available. They are there with me, 15 commentaries, and I'm making an attempt along with our PG scholars, so that we can publish a good Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita incorporating all the 15 commentaries of Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita on available sthanas.
Okay, sir. It's really interesting to know about this. Sir, I had one more question. Like we have research questions, right? Like we have a
Yeah.
method of research. So is there any
Yeah.
peculiar method of research for manuscriptology? Do you follow some other
Yeah,
method of,
the
because we have hypothesis, we have the steps of research. So are there some other methods for this manuscriptology research?
Yeah, it has got different method. It has got a different method. Now, right from previous part to this part, I narrated all those methods: collection,
Uh-huh.
conservation, digitalization, then after that critical edition. And for this, the method which we are going to follow is there are three methods. One is Nirnaya Sagariya method, and another one critical edition based on the method which will be used by manuscriptologist. One more method, and Kolkata edition. One more edition method is there, which we are going to follow. And the basic part here is the methodology, which has been narrated in by the manuscriptologist, suits appropriate. And we are going to adopt here not hypothesis here for us is whether it is popular or not, popular, unpopular. Second one, the research question actually, popular or unpopular. Second one, what are the contributions of the author to the field of Ayurveda, or what are the contribution to the author to the field of
So you keep these things in aims and objectives. You keep these
Aim
things
is
in aims and
correction.
objectives. Because literally
yeah.
you are doing a literary research, so you keep these things as a aims and objectives of the study.
Yeah. We'll keep same in aims and objectives.
Okay.
First one, collection and comparison.
Uh-huh.
Second one, critical edition and publication. That method we are going to follow.
Okay. So do you follow any specific referencing for these? Because as you are editing, how do you follow this referencing method?
Vancouver referencing only we are following. Vancouver referencing, because we are editing it for Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. So Vancouver style will be asked by them. So we are following Vancouver style referencing.
It's really fantastic, sir, that you have joined us again on this Sunday. Made this Sunday more fruitful, and even we have learned a lot of things from your presentation. It was a fabulous presentation, absolutely, from my side, and a new area wherein I think we all should be working, because these manuscripts have been the basis of what chikitsa would be, I think, practicing further, basing the concepts.
Yeah.
The concepts, we are full of concepts. So those concepts have to be preserved. And manuscriptology is such a department, I think, which is doing this tedious job. It needs a lot of patience and continuous working, I feel, sir. So here we'll come to an end. So you would like to say anything else to our viewers?
Yeah. Be cool and have interest towards manuscript, and please edit the manuscripts, Ayurveda, unpublished Ayurveda manuscripts, because there are lots and lots of manuscripts which are unpublished yet. You can publish them, and you can make those Siddhantas available to the Ayurvedic people to read it and understand it and put it into practice. For the globe, we are doing it. For the people, we are doing it, so that the Siddhantas can be applied and the health of the sufferer can be restored at, or health of the healthy person can be restored at. At this juncture, I want to thank Dr. Hemant Toshikane sir for giving me second chance to present once again as a part 2, and I am thankful to Dr. Harish Daga sir for technical support, and I'm indebted to the support of Dr. Uri Kulkarni madam for showing so much interest in these two part 2 steps for the study of steps involved in the study of manuscriptology. And even I'm thankful to all the authorities of Parul University for inviting me and to share my views on the manuscriptology. and I have got little knowledge in manuscriptology. It is like practicing till we achieve uh, the skills in it, and nobody will become perfect in this because many areas are there in this. With this, I am very much thankful to all the viewers and all those who have joined this webinar.
It's so
Thank you, one and
humble
all.
of you, sir. It's so humble of you. Firstly, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to you for joining us for the second session of manuscriptology with absolute patience, and I hope our viewers are benefited out of this. And I'd like to show gratitude towards you, sir, for dedicating your time for this topic, and also it shows your interest also in this topic. The time which you have given us, it shows the interest also, the second part I can say. And also I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Dean Faculty of Ayurveda, Dr. Hemant Toshikane sir, for choosing pearls from the ocean of Ayurveda. I think that should be a better word for the speakers which we are choosing for every Sunday sessions, like Dr. Srinath Vaidya sir, for benefit of students, staff, and viewers from all around. And also, I'd like to thank Dr. Harish Daga sir for his flawless technical support, as always he does for the webinars. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the viewers who have joined us. Please stay tuned, and the further notice for the next webinar will be displayed on our page in Facebook also. So please keep an update of our page. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, one and all.
Namaste.
Thank you.